welcome to Physics. I am teacher Phoebe and today we'll talk about unit conversion. Unit conversion is important in physics, especially if we encounter numbers with units that have prefixes. So today in this video, we'll learn how to convert units using metric scale and using the conversion factor. When I say units with prefixes, sometimes we will encounter units such as the unit for length, for example, kilometer. Sometimes we also encounter millimeter or nanometer and a lot more. Okay, so here in our examples, we have kilo as our prefix, we have milli as our prefix, and we have nano as our prefix. And meter here is our base. Okay, so base. Another example, aside from the unit of length, we also have the unit for mass. For example, grams. Grams is a base unit for mass. But sometimes we encounter kilograms or milligram, or nanogram, okay, or decagram. Oh, this is decigram. Decagram is DH. Okay, and a lot more. So the question is, how are we going to convert one unit to another given their prefixes? Okay, and sometimes we also encounter units such as minute, okay, the unit for time, seconds, hours, okay, that they do not have prefixes, but we are still going to convert them to another unit, such as minute to seconds or to hours. So how are we going to do that? So we'll be able to learn that in this lesson. Let's begin. So first, we will use the metric scale for those units that have prefixes, such as the one given here in the ruler. We have prefix giga, mega, kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, milli, micro, and nano. So these are the common prefixes that we often encounter in physics, numbers in physics. So how are we going to use this one? If you notice in the middle, we have here, this is the place for the base unit. So in this example, we have m here for meter. That's the unit for length. But we can always replace this to any other unit, such as the mass unit or grams, or for example the current unit, current for the electricity. So that's I here, or ampere A. Okay, and we sometimes also use volts. Okay, for voltage, you can put here V. Okay, so you can replace this unit here to any other unit depending on the scenario. Right, so how are we going to do this? We have here steps, the left part. First, if you are given a number that you will be converting, you have to write that number first, and then you will have to add zeros depending on the number of places moved. And then the last is the zeros will be added to the right or to the left of the decimal point depending on the direction of your movement. Okay, let's have an example. 1 meter, how are you going to convert 1 meter to millimeter? Okay, what is the equivalent of 1 meter to millimeter? Using the metric scale, we can just count the places from the base, which is meter, going to millimeter. Okay, now if we count the places, okay, each line here represents one place value or 1 point. Okay, so that should be three places going to millimeter, right? So that means, according to step 2, add zeros depending on the number of places moved. And the zeros will be added to the right to the left from the decimal point, depending on the direction of the movement. So from here, we are from meter, we go to milli, that's going to left, okay, because milli is the last unit that we wanted to achieve. So going to the left, that's 3 places. And it says here the zeros will be added after the decimal point. Okay, so 3 places from the decimal point, that's 1. So after 1 is a decimal point, so we have to move 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the places to the right, you have to fill it with zeros. Okay. So that's why we have an equivalent value of 1000 millimeter, and that's equal to 1 meter. Okay, another example here is 10. 10 meter going to millimeter. We can just add 3 more zeros because we move from here, the scale, 3 more zeros to the right. Right, so 10, 1, 2, 3. So we have 10,000 millimeter. That's equivalent to 10 meter. Okay, how about this? 220. The decimal point is after 0, so we have to move 3 places to the right again, and that's why we have 220,000 millimeter. Okay, so that's going to the right. How about if we go to the left? Let's say meter, and we have to convert it to kilometer. Okay, so that's 3 places again going to the left. So, but again, the movement will have to be from the decimal point at 3 places to the left. The decimal point is after 0, right? I mean, after 1. After 1. So if we're going to manually show the process, so we have 1 meter, and we need to convert it to kilometer. So, but the decimal point is after the 1. It's like 1.0, right? So you just need to move from decimal point going to the left 1, 2, 3, because we need to move 3 places, right? So this is 1, 2, and 3. And so we have 2 places here. So the decimal point is now here, and 2 places that we need to fill in with zeros. So we have 1 0 and 2 0. So in this example, we just use 2 zeros added to 1. So this becomes 0, 0.001 kilometer. Okay. Right. Another example. Okay, so it's 0.001 kilometer. Another example is 10 meters. So we know that the decimal point is after the 0, and we just need to convert 10 meters to kilometers. So I have to move 3 places to the left. So that's 10. 1, 2, 3, and then point. And now there are 3 places. Let me show it again here manually. So from 10 meters to kilometers. And now we have the point is after 0, so we have to move 3 places to the left. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so now the decimal point transferred here, and so we have 0.010 kilometer now. Okay. Alright, how about 220 meters? What is that in kilometer? So that's 220. We have to move to the left from the decimal point. That's 1, 2, 3, and that becomes 0.220 kilometer. Okay, another example is the unit for mass. It's still the same process. 2 grams. If we're going to change it to milligram unit, we have to move 3 places to the right, and this becomes 2,000 milligrams. Okay, so just fill in the places with zeros. 20. So decimal point is after 0 here in the 20. So 20, and you just need to add 3 more places to the right. 2, 3. So that's 20,000. How about 222 grams? You need to add 3 places to the right. Okay, so 222,000 milligrams. How about the other way around? 1 gram to kilogram. Now this time, it's going to the left. 3 places to the left. But the point, again, decimal point is after 1. So you need to move, and that includes the place value of 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 places to the left. So now we have 0.001. 10 grams. So the decimal point is after 0 here. We need to move 3 places to the left. So we have to include the places of the 10. So this 1, 2, and we need to add 1 more. So fill the place with 0. Now 1, 2, 3 going to the left, and now we have 0.010. About 220, we have the decimal point is after 0 here, so 3 places to the left, 1, 2, 3, and we have 0.220. Okay, so that's how we convert. Another example that we change the base to from meter to ampere. So still the same process. 2 ampere to milliampere. Just add 3 more zeros. Okay, 20 ampere to milliampere. So just add 3 more zeros. Okay, 3 places to the right. 222 ampere to milliampere. So still the same process. How about if you go to the left? 1 ampere to kiloampere. That's 3 places going to the left. We have to include 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's 0.001. So again, if you're going to the left, the decimal places will be moved to the left. Okay. And the number of zeros that we will add depends on the given. Okay, so since here we have only 1 digit that's given here, and the decimal point is after 1, just move 3 places to the left. So we just added 2 zeros. 10 ampere. So we have here 2 digits given. Okay, that's 0 and 1. So we just need to add 1 more. 0, 1 place value, and that's 0.010. 220, there are 3 digits already. So going to the left, it's 0.220. Right, so that's using the metric scale. So it's very easy. If you memorize the metric scale, we have the following order, and the movement again, or the places again, depends on the given. For example, hecto, 1 ampere to hectoampere. So you no longer need to move 3 places because that's only 2 places from the base, right? Ampere, 1, 2. Or let's say megaampere. So from the base, that's 6 places to the left. Okay. For example, megaampere to hectoampere. So you have to start your movement from mega to hecto. So you have to do like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just 4 places going to the right. Okay, depending on what's given, the unit that's given will be the number of places and the number of zeros you will have to add, okay, after the decimal point. So there are times again that there are no prefixes, but units such as the time unit, or for example inch, so foot. Okay, how are you going to convert that? So the one that's most applicable in this kind of scenario, that units are not accompanied with centi, but it's another term. For example, hours to minutes to days to seconds. We just need to use the conversion factor. So for conversion factor is just an equivalent number of the base. For example, the base is meter and the kilometer, how much is meter to kilometer? So 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meter, right? 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meter. So you for that kind of situation, you just need to familiarize the equivalent conversions of those common units. Example here, convert 35 kilometer to 1 to meter. So we know that there are 1,000 meter in 1 kilometer. Okay, so we just need to use this conversion factor. And the first step that you're going to do is to write again the number that you wanted to convert. The number that you wanted to convert here is 35 kilometer. Write that down. And you have to multiply it with the conversion factor. But the conversion factor, you need to change it to a fraction. So therefore, you have to change this also to a fraction. 35 kilometer is equal to 35 kilometer over 1. Multiply it with the conversion factor. So this is a conversion factor. If you notice, we can just interchange these two units, meter, kilometer. We can just put kilometer, the 1 kilometer on the numerator and the 1,000 meter on the denominator. We can do that. This can be interchanged depending on what's given. But here, we set kilometer at the bottom because the given is in the unit of kilometer. And we need to cancel this out. The kilometer sign, we need to cancel so that what we will have left is the meter unit. So now that we have this, we can already start doing the calculation. So we can use our calculator or we can manually calculate this. 35 times 1,000, that's equal to 35,000. And since kilometer is cancelled, okay, now we have left is the meter unit. 35,000 meter. Okay, if we're going to go back to the metric scale, yeah, we can just meter to kilometer to meter. So there are 3 places, 1, 2, 3. We're just going to the right of the decimal point. Okay, 50 milligrams to centigrams. So we know that there's in 1 centigram, there is equal to 10 milligram. Okay, 10 milligram. Where did we get this one? From the metric scale. Okay, for every centigram is here, milligram is here, so centigram to milligram, that's just 10, right? 10 milligram. One movement to the right is 10 milligram. So now 50 milligrams to centigrams, we have to write again the number that we wanted to convert, multiply it with a conversion factor. Okay, so milligram is at the bottom so that we can cancel the unit milligram. And now we can proceed in multiplying 50 times 1 divided by 10, and that's equal to 5 centigram. Okay, now another example. So we have here time, 16,054 minutes into hours. So this time, we cannot use a metric scale. Okay, so all we just need to do is to remember the equivalent factor or the equivalent conversion for minutes to seconds or minutes to hours. So how many minutes are there in 1 hour? We know that for every 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So we can use this conversion factor. And for us to convert, we will have to write first the number that we want to convert. So that's 16,054 minutes. And we need to multiply it with a conversion factor. Okay, so change the conversion factor into a fraction form. Okay, so 16,054 minutes times the fraction form of our conversion factor. Again, they can be interchanged depending on what's given, but we have to make sure that minute should be at the bottom so that we can cancel the unit for minutes. Okay, so now that we have canceled the units, now we can proceed in calculating. We can use our calculator for this one. 16,054 times 1 divided by 60. And that's equal to 267.57 hours. So we have also 350 hours days. So what will be the conversion factor that we will use here? So how many hours are there in one day? There are 24 hours. So we can use this one as our conversion factor. And you can change it to a fraction form. It's either 1 day over 24 hours or 24 hours over 1 day. We can do that. So first we write the number that we wanted to convert. That's 350 hours. Okay, and we multiply it. Okay, so in fraction form, we multiply it to the conversion factor times 1 day over 24 hours. Okay, hours is at the bottom so that we can cancel the unit hours. So now that we will cancel them, we can already calculate. Now that we have canceled, we can already calculate the numbers. 350 times 1 divided by 24. Okay, using manual solving or using a calculator, we will have 14.58 days. Okay, right? And another example, let's say convert 3.5. Okay, so this one is 3.5 days to minutes. The conversion factor here, for minutes, we know that for every for 1 day we have 24 hours, and for 1 hour we have 60 minutes. So we can use these two conversion factors. So let's have first 3.5 days times 24 hours over 1 day. So we use the first conversion factor because our number here starts with the unit days. So we have to cancel days first. And so the remaining will be hours. So we will have to use the second conversion factor, which is 1 hour equal to 60 minutes, so that we can cancel the hour unit. Right? We cancel first the days and then the hour. So what we will have left is the 60 minutes. Okay, and now we will proceed in calculating. 3.5 times 24 times 60, and that's equal to 5.040 minutes. Okay, so there are advantages in using metric scale, but it's not applicable all the time. Okay, because there are numbers that do not have those prefixes. But for those numbers that have prefixes, the metric scale will be the most or the easiest way in solving and converting one unit to another. Alright, so another example here that we can try. Let's practice. Convert 2 microampere into ampere. Microampere into ampere. So 2. And convert it to ampere. So if we are going to use the conversion factor, we know that for every 1 ampere, the equivalent for that in microampere is 1 million microampere, right? If we are going to go back to the scale, metric scale, so if this is ampere, there are 6 places going to the right to reach the microampere. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that means that from 1 ampere, we need to move 6 places going to the right. Okay, so here, if we use first the conversion factor, this one, we can just write 2 microampere, okay, and we multiply it with the conversion factor in fraction form. So we have to make sure that the microampere unit should be at the bottom. So this ampere. So 1 ampere is equivalent to 1 million microampere. So now we can cancel the microampere unit, and what we will have left is 2 times 1 ampere over 1 million. And what is the resulting number here? We can use our calculator. Or yeah, we can manually solve that, because if we divide a number with this one, it's easy to solve. We just need to move the decimal point going to the left, right? So 2 divided by 1 million, that's equal to 0.000002. Okay, so that's equal to 0.02345 2 ampere. Okay, so that will be your answer. Okay, how about 5 millimeters to meters? Okay, 5 millimeters to meters. Sorry, 5 millimeters to meters. So we know that for every 1 meter, the equivalent for that in meter is 1,000. Okay, so we will use this conversion factor. Again, conversion factor can be 1 meter over 1,000 millimeter, or we can also use 1,000 millimeter over 1 meter. So it's either we use this one or this one, depending on the given. But the given is 5 millimeter, so 5 millimeter, we multiply it with the conversion factor. Which one are we going to use, this one or this one? We have to use this one because millimeter is at the bottom. So 1,000 millimeter and 1 meter. So we can cancel out the millimeter sign or unit, and we can proceed in multiplying. 5 times 1 divided by 1,000, that's equal to 0.005 meter, right? So if we're going to check that in our calculator, that's 5 divided by 1,000. 1,000. Right, so that's equal to 0.005 meters. Okay, and do not forget to always write the ending unit. Okay, let's have another example. 32 kilovolts to volts. 32 kilovolts to volts. So we know that for every 1 kilovolt, equivalent is 1,000 volts. So we can use this conversion factor. So 32 kilovolts, multiply it with the conversion factor. We need to make sure that kilovolt is at the bottom. 1 kilovolt is equal to 1,000 volts. So kilovolt will be cancelled. Now we can proceed in computing. 32 times 1,000, that's equal to 32,000. And the ending unit is volt. Okay, so that's 32,000 volts. Right. So that is how we convert one unit to another. Right. So I hope that you learned something for today, and um, you can use this one whenever we need to convert one unit to another in physics. Right. And thank you for your time. You have a great one. Okay. And let's see each other in the next video. Bye.